Today's episode of Game Geeks is sponsored by DriveThruRPG.com. Hi folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host Kurt Wiegel. Today's episode is the Conspiracy X Extraterrestrials Guide. This is a DriveThruRPG sponsored review, therefore the coupon code seen below can be used for a limited time after the initial airing of this episode to get a discount on this product in PDF form through DriveThruRPG. This is a supplement for the Conspiracy X role-playing game, which we reviewed previously. During that time, I mentioned in the review, I thought if there was any fault in the game, it lacked focus, and that I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to do with the Conspiracy X game. This product, the Extraterrestrials Sourcebook, really brings that into focus for me about what you can do with this game. This book is all about the three principal extraterrestrial non-human antagonists that show up in the Connex game. The Atlanteans, the Greys, and the Saurians. Each one of these is really well detailed in this product and even gives you more information on their history, really well developed information on their history, their technology, how it works, how you can use it, including the option for playing one of these races as a PC in your game. Honestly, I don't know how well that would work in a mixed type. Either you're all Greys or you're all Atlanteans. I don't know how well a human agent and one of these races could really work together, but that's really up to your GM and your players to figure that out. The Atlanteans themselves, the masters of nanotechnology, are the first chapter you run into. It gives sort of a history of their race, how they came to our world, what it means to be an Atlantean, what it means to be sort of broken away from the Atlantean race. A lot more information on their nanotechnology and how it works, and specifically how you can use that in your game. The Atlanteans are really the ultimate Illuminati because they've been around for a really long time. They've really wormed their way into our society and our structures, and it's how you can pick out sort of what contribution they have made to our history and to shutting down our history and our development, and what you can use in your game to either deal with the Atlanteans to your advantage or to an enemy. Probably Aegis, the main organization in Conspiracy X, has more knowledge on the Atlanteans than anything else. The Greys, in my opinion, really are the weakest of the races because I'm bored with them. The Greys have popped up all over the place in every extraterrestrial show, game. They've become part of the common pop culture zeitgeist that really drives sort of how the aliens work, and I get a little bored with them. Also, the psychic thing doesn't really work for me when you've got nanotech and energy conversion on the two other extremes. But if you want a more standard conspiracy approach to the aliens, the Greys are the way to go for you. This also details their history, and I hesitate to give away too many spoiler points because I don't, if you're playing in this, I don't know how much your GM really wants you to know. Different ways that you can use the psychic lenses, which is sort of how they run their powers for the Greys against the human groups. Now, the Saurians are really, in my opinion, the most diverse because there's a couple different reptile races running around, all sorts of organizations, and how they have infiltrated Black Book, which is the enemy organization in the Conspiracy X world. There are sort of how the Saurians were here, when they left, why they left, and how they plan on ultimately returning, if that's what your GM wants to do in the game. There are their technology, which is more based on energy conversion and matter to energy than it is nanotech or psychic powers necessarily. And ultimately, I think these are really set up to be the bad guys in a Connex game. The Greys are the wild card and the Atlanteans are more in the gray area. In my opinion anyway, obviously your GM may run it differently. This really helps bring the entire at least that part of the Connex world into focus for me. Future supplements will include the paranormal source book, which will sort of deal with more of the creepy and not extraterrestrial, but you're not really sure what that is, seepage parts of the game. Ultimately, I think there'll also be a conspiracies book, which also help in the third triad of what you can do in the Connex line. If you liked Conspiracy X and want a unisystem-driven aliens and conspiracy game, this is really one of the good products for you. As we mentioned earlier, after the initial airing of this episode, this will be available for a discount from DriveThruRPG.com if you use the code seen below in the coupon code box. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.
We average 9 new titles a day. That's over 60 a week. And we've got well over 15,000 RPG titles online right now. Drive-Thru RPG, the one true source for RPGs.